Welcome to another week we're missing one. Don't know where he's gone. Baby's here with us.
Episode three. And the target plant for plant health and wellness this week is
Thyme. And I've put my hand to go first because we know he talks a lot. I told everybody that at the grafting day a few weeks ago. and people agreed with me. So yeah. All right, I don't want to get into his little bucket, so let's go, Kerry. All right, so Thyme supports the body systems it supports is the cardio system, digestive system, the endocrine system, immune, and the nervous system, which is really good. Now, Thyme's actually antibacterial. I've got a noisy dog. Antifungal, antioxidant, antiviral, and antiseptic. So Thyme is
sort of kind of a cousin to oregano.
It is, yeah. They're very closely related, and it's a hot oil as well. So here comes my trivia stuff. You don't like the trivia stuff either, hey? Right. So Thyme used to be used by Egyptians for. Can you guess?
No.
Oh, embalming.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's like a preservation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And
of course, antibacterial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the ancient Greeks used to use it to fight against infection. So it's been around for infectious illnesses. And it was grown in Spain and Italy in the Middle Ages to use as a cough remedy. So that's it.
So did you say cough?
Cough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I get the idea. Thank you so much.
And on the emotional side, because we know Kerry likes the emotional side, it's the oil of releasing and forgiving. So it's a powerful cleanser of the emotional body. And it assists in dealing with trapped feelings, which may be buried for a long time. So you know how sometimes we hold all that stuff down and we don't want to let it go? Thyme's the oil to use to help with that. So it helps to release emotional stuff, helps to become more forgiving, be tolerant, and patient. Did you have a spell of it?
I smell thyme a lot.
And now I know for a fact there's a couple of people that watch this video as well that use thyme, and they actually make thyme tea to help with respiratory.
Yeah, I have. I've known about that.
Yeah, and it has helped with their breathing and respiratory as well. And just my last little bit of trivia: Buster's favourite herb is thyme because he's always sitting in it.
Yes, very true.
Don't you, buddy? You like thyme?
I don't suppose, because there is over 100 different types of thyme, and some are a little more aromatic than others, so I'm guessing that they're obviously using one that's highly aromatic, because it doesn't smell either like these two thymes. But
I just say thyme, but they tell you what thyme it is.
Yeah, so one I can understand, because that's pizza thyme.
Yeah, it smells like pizza thyme.
Oh, does it? Yeah, I don't reckon. So you smell that? Yeah.
No, mine's stronger than that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So that's really strong. And the other one.
Get rid of anything.
My two. Well, look. So, culinary. Can you use that oil? Culinary.
Yeah, you'd only use. So if you're going to use doTERRA oils for cooking, right? What you do, especially oregano, is the perfect one we did. Last week, is instead of putting a whole drop into your food, like let's say you're making spaghetti bolognese, and you need some oregano, we don't have any dry, we don't have any in the garden, we put a drop. You wouldn't put a drop in. So what you do, if you want to add an oil, just a little bit, what you do is you get a toothpick and put it on top and swirl that around, so that it's cool. Less. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
I just fall it tonight.
Yeah, you are. So many ways. Okay. So and bear in mind, if you're looking to get oils, go to Kerry's. Kerry's got 2 pages. One's powertochoose.com.au, and the one for the oils is kerrycastrewellness.com.au. So just make sure, again, we're going to reinforce this because we don't want you to make a mistake and make yourself sick. Make sure you get pharmaceutical grade oils. These are doTERRA. The cheap stuff at the $2 shop is not for you. Get out of there. So anyway, So thyme is probably one of my favourite herbs. I mean, I've got a lot of favourite herbs, let me tell you, but being a bit of a cook, you know, I use them a lot. And carrot and thyme, there's just no way known I would ever do without it. Also mushrooms and thyme, and they're just best friends on the plate. But in terms of, you know, selecting the variety for you, you know, when you get along to a nursery, you could be gobsmacked if they've got a good range of all the different types. And my favourites, and bear in mind, it's a bit of a personal preference, so don't just use my favourites to become yours. Test them and try them for yourself, because they are vastly different between one to another. This one is turkey thyme, and it's sort of a grey, finer foliage, and it tends to grow up a little bit taller. So, and it also goes woody fairly easy. So it's something you probably want to make sure that you can cut back, and it's not a bad one to put near a border, you know, so you can clip it. And of course, you can either elect to dry the leaves that you take off it. I pick it fresh and throw it in a pot full of water if I'm boiling carrots. And I just strip the leaves off it if I'm going to make something with mushrooms. And this one's a pizza thyme. So, and it's quite savoury. It's very, very different to the turkey thyme. And then, of course, then there's lemon thyme, and there's a whole host of them. So just as I say, pinch a little piece off, get the volatile oils, you know, rub it between your fingers. You only need one leaf, so it's not even going to wreck the nursery plants. You know, pick one leaf off, squash it in your fingers, have a bit of a taste and see whether that's for you. Another fantastic one as a ground cover, and in fact, I've seen them grown, you know, in a garden where they've got stepping stones, and rather than have a mulch, they've used thyme as a ground cover, and they've used all the different colours and different types, you know, so, and it looks spectacular. Another, also a very good one for, you know, growing underneath trees and the like, where you've got perhaps you know, an area where you can't really grow much else, and you want to keep the weeds down. So this is another one, a bit like oregano, to do the same sort of thing. Again, mix some varieties up with it. Don't get into the habit of planting just all thyme underneath your trees. That's not what I'm talking about. You know, to get that nutrient density scenario happening and healthy soil, remember the 4 or 5 at least plant family groups together. So, you know, 5 different types of thyme doesn't cut it. They need to be in a different plant family altogether. So they don't like wet feet. So make sure, if you're in a bit of a clay soil, either mound the soil up a little bit. If you tend to, you know, I wouldn't put them in a hollow, and they won't overwinter well if they get really, really cold and wet. So that's another thing to remember. Those that are in the northern, you know, north of the divide, from New South Wales upwards, you won't have any problems with overwintering them. You know, they're a very hardy thyme. They're also a perennial. You know, you don't have to grow these each year, and again, grown really, really easy from cutting. Wherever they touch the soil, you'll find that they take root. So, you know, as they get a little older, you know, 2 or 3 years down the track, if you haven't propagated some, I recommend you do. Otherwise, you're going to be straight down the nursery. You know, you'll wake up one morning and it'll have turned up its toes, and if you haven't propagated some, you'll be without. Unlike oregano, thyme doesn't intensify its flavour when it's dried, and I think that it's very best when it's fresh. But you know, sometimes on the cold, wet days, and it's teeming rain outside, and you want some time for your carrots, doesn't hurt to dry some. So, but if you're growing it and you're going to dry it, you know, all I do is, again, a bit like the oregano, cut it off in a little bunch, tie it up, hang it up in a bag somewhere where it's going to dry reasonably easy, and you know, anything that falls off it, you'll collect in the bottom of the bag, and it doesn't take very long, and just chuck it into a container so you've always got it. Don't fertilise them. Look, and fertilising anything these days seriously is likely to get you into trouble, and thyme's you know, one of those plants that if you fertilise, you know, you're going to disconnect the plant from the soil's microbiome, and the nutrient density then drops in the plant, and you don't get the flavour and the flavonoids, and that's where you get the flavour from, and the aroma, that's where you get it from. If you've disconnected that plant from that soil microbiome, the bacterial and fungal network cannot deliver what it's meant to allow the plant to develop all those those flavonoids. So make sure you know, the very best thing you can do is make a really diverse compost. Put it through a cheap plastic sieve. Don't spend a lot of time at it. I don't. Whatever goes through the sieve really easily. Just collect in a bucket and just broadcast, you know, half a handful or even less, sprinkled over the top of the thyme. Water it in really, really well, and let that be the plant's fertiliser. And you do that, you know, once a month or once every couple of months. Happy days. Seriously, you'll get really good results from the thyme, and it'll never look back. You know, you'll always have a good, healthy plant full of flavour. Another good one for pots as well. Again, I like to make herbs as mobile as I possibly can, albeit though we don't at the moment have any thyme in pots. But hold the phone. I'll be making sure that I'm going to do a propagating segment down the track. So thyme will be one of those that I'll do. But it's a handy thing again to be able to take, you know, to sit beside another plant that you want it to companion. And because it's highly aromatic, you know, it often will repel things like sap sucking or you know, things like whitefly. I don't like the, you know, the highly aromatic herbs. So to put a pot next to something that's being attacked, you know, let's say for argument's sake basil maybe at this time of year, you know, if you've got some whitefly starting to attack it because it's starting to come to the end of its season, pop a pot of thyme next to it, or oregano, or one of those highly aromatic herbs. Even rosemary would be a good choice, and just sit that there, and I'll guarantee that in a day or so the whitefly will be gone. They won't stick around. So in terms of pH, it's not fussy. Not that you need to get bogged too much down in pH, but it'll sit in a wide variety of soils, and clay soils tend to be a bit more acidic, down into the, you know, below 6. And the alkaline soils, the sandier soils, you know, they'll survive in an 8 pH, which is quite alkaline. So, you know, it will do okay, and they're pretty hardy, as I say. It's and they're also a good plant to fit in between others. You know, they're a great fill-in plant. You know, so if you've got a bit of a hole somewhere, and remember, thyme is fairly low growing, so keep it to the front of the bed so you maximise. And being small leafed, they tend to like a little bit more sun than the larger leaves. The larger leaf plants obviously are more shade dwellers. And if you think about when you're planting out of bed, think about trying to maximise the amount of leaf space or surface area you have in a bed by layering. So keep your thyme at the front of the bed, and then the next tallest, and so on, and work the way back toward the bed. And the reason for that is that the more leaves that you have photosynthesizing, the more topsoil you'll build, the healthier your soil will become, and you actually get more pest and disease protection from the bacteria and the fungi in soil by doing that. And of course you raise the nutrient density of the plants. So there you go. So for more information about thyme, you can get that either in my Plant Profiles book or from my daily posts in Plant Profiles on my website, craigcastree.com.au.
And don't forget, on Tuesday night on Kerry Castree
yes.
Wellness on Facebook, I do a live oil class each week, something different. Can't tell you because I only make it up and make it up. But if you come on, please give me a wave, yell out hi, because I send booklets out where you can have that information and you don't have to take notes. It will be sent out to you.
So there are the 3 sites to have a look at. Of course, my social links are all on my website. Also links to the Werribee Park Heritage Orchard. But the 3 websites to look out for are powertochoose.com.au, kerrycastreewellness.com.au, and my website, craigcastree.com.au. Pretty easy. All right, well, that's it for another session. Bye for now. Bye for
me.
Bye from all of us.
Bye from all of us.
See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.